This episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here is our reoccurring daydream. Us at a drool-worthy pool, surrounded by our business besties. We just finished a powerful exercise on building our dream lives and executing our business goals. Join us if you are ready to be celebrated for taking up space, to feel purposeful, and to live a life of fulfillment. Go to proofitspossible.com for more info. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are multifaceted entrepreneurs, the founders of the Ultimate Girls Trip, and the hosts of Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are also sisters, best friends, and complete opposites, but somehow we always manage to stay on the same team. Join us every week to hear our thoughts on all things entrepreneurship, friendship, family, pulp culture, and more. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about something kind of a little more fun, and it's kind of a get to know Jamie and I. We are going to start with a funny thing that's about rumors. So recently I had a funny rumor going around about me, and some friends of mine basically approached me about it, and it actually cracked me up. I know people gossip. So the thing is I don't actually think gossip's all bad. I just think it's human nature. And so Jamie, do you have a rumor that you've ever heard about yourself that someone actually came to you about, or are we just talking shit about your back, behind your back?
Um, None that really come to mind. I'm sure there has been rumors, but obviously I didn't care enough to even remember them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so my funny rumor and why we were kind of chatting about this is because I have two actually. I have two rumor stories that were brought to my attention. One was from a long time ago, so I'll start with that one, and then one's more recent that's absolutely hilarious. So, anyways, when I was first in a wheelchair, I remember finally resurfacing, going to a party at my friend's house when I was a teenager, and all of a sudden I was in a wheelchair. So we lived in a small-ish town, but there was two large schools, and I went to the smaller of the two schools. So there was a lot of kids that knew of me or knew me, but didn't know me enough to know what was going on in my life, or didn't whatever. So this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry about your skiing accident." And I'm like, "What? My skiing accident?" I didn't have a skiing accident. And he's like, "No, I totally heard the whole story. Everyone's talking about what a tragedy it is. You were in a skiing accident." And I'm like, "I wasn't. This was not a skiing. I'm me. I'm telling you, I had surgery. It didn't go well. I've been in a wheelchair ever since. I have an underlying neuromuscular disease." And he was like, "No, man, I heard everything." And kind of walked away and didn't believe me. And I was like, this is so, and even then I laughed. I absolutely laughed. And another one that's coming up. Do you remember that we would always stop on our way to school at the gas station, and mom would get a coffee before school?
Yes.
And so, but you would often hop out of the car and get something for your lunch or whatever. And I never got out of the car, but it's because it was harder for me to do little tasks like that even back then. And so I just always stayed in the car. And once I was in a wheelchair, I do feel like more people were kind of talking about me and my situation and how it was felt like it was overnight, because it was in our small town. And one of the girls that worked there said something to the effect of it's really nice of your parents to have adopted that girl in the wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
Because do you remember this?
Oh, that yeah. And I was like, who?
Yeah, you're like, who did that? And they're like, I think they said it right to you. They
Yes,
said,
yes,
and you were
yeah.
like, no, she's not adopted. She's my sister. What are you talking about? And so that was another funny one from back then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then more recently, this one is quite well thought out. And I was having coffee with you and some of our girlfriends, and
Mm-hmm.
you're all sort of in the same general industry, and it's the same industry that our dad was in. So it's a very small world. And downtown Calgary is a really small town. Even though there's 1.6 or 7 million people that live here, at the end of the day, this industry is kind of the centerpiece to business.
Yes,
And
yes.
so gossip flies. And they said to us, "We have something to ask you." And I was like, okay. And they're like, what's new? And I said, well, nothing. I don't know, life. Like, I wrote a book and Darren's good and we're going on a trip, like, normal things. And they're like, yeah, but what about the baby? And I was like, what baby? What are you talking about? They're like, well, so our cousin's wife is amazing and she's having a baby for some friends. She's being a surrogate. And so the rumor mill, everyone wants to know who she's being a surrogate for. And I don't even know who she's being a surrogate for because I don't know the people and I never even thought to ask. So the rumor mill had picked up because I maybe couldn't have a baby and they're close to like my age and it's my cousin, that maybe they were having the baby for me and Darren because we are now married and we would want a baby. And I'm like, oh my God, no. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not true. But I thought, God, you guys did a lot of like thinking or like, and it wasn't these friends that made it up. It was like some friends of theirs that brought it to their attention. And so I just thought, wow, gossip and rumors really, really can have like a life of their own. And I know that they're not always positive. Quite often, rumors can have like a negative spin to them. And I've been like the lucky recipient that it's never, any rumors that I've actually heard have never been negative towards me. But I thought, wow, these are quite funny. And I'm glad that I got the opportunity to like dispel them all. But I still think like, I don't think the baby's born yet.
Having the baby soon, and
Yeah,
I guess
he is having the baby soon. So, guys, there might be a big fat juicy surprise. Like, I'll Paris Hilton the whole thing, and then just do a like,
yeah.
here's my
What do
baby.
you tell me or mom and dad?
Yeah,
Because
that's
now
what Paris Hilton did. She just
I'm starting to think
yeah,
maybe the rumors are true.
maybe the rumors are true, and maybe that was me like testing to see if you guys already knew.
Maybe.
Guys, they're not true. I love going on holidays. I love sleeping in on weekends. I love a clean house. Kids take all
You
of
know
this
how
from
mad I would be if you did that? Like,
Oh,
if
I
you didn't tell me that you were
no.
about to have a baby. I
Yeah.
literally.
You'd be mad. Mom would be mad. Dad would be mad. Like I wouldn't. Me and my baby might as well just move to Costa Rica and like start our
Started
own life.
because
Yeah,
we
go
would,
into witness protection.
yeah, we wouldn't have you as a part of our family anymore. So
Exactly. Okay. Speaking of that, let's do a couple get to know yous. So,
okay.
what is like your dream trip that you would want to go on with me?
Oh,
Has to be with me.
I was
Fine. We
like,
can.
oh,
Sorry. What's
that's
your
easy.
dream trip, and then why aren't I invited? That's actually the question. So,
Well, because it's Italy. I really want to go to Italy
okay.
and Greece, and I want to go with like at least Ray. And if you were coming, I want Ray and Darren and you
Yeah.
to come because I feel like you have to go with like a big appetite to Italy and like
Totally.
someone who's willing to order more food
All
than
the
is
things on the
necessary.
menu, so you
I
can have a
actually,
bite.
because I
Yeah.
don't really like food waste, but like me and you, we can split an appetizer and be like, oh, yeah, an appetizer and
Yeah.
entree. You don't get to
Well, and
try as
like
much.
eat in an hour. Exactly.
Yeah,
Something
you don't
new.
get to try as much stuff. So I want to go with someone who's like got a big appetite, who's going to order one of
Right.
everything, so that I can try it all.
Mhm. Right. Yes, I definitely think like Italy is an eating trip. And like I love an eating trip. That's one of my
For sure.
favorite things to do.
But if it was just you and I going, I don't want to go to Italy. If it was just you and I going on a trip, I don't know, like any major city with like really warm weather and great shopping.
I also do you want to know what my dream trip is? And anyone who wants to join me is welcome. It but I'm afraid of the flight is like Fiji. It's an
Oh
overwater bungalow.
yeah,
It's
yes.
Bali. It's something like that, where it's like
I do worry sometimes though that like I would get a little stir crazy in an overwater bungalow.
me too. Like I would hope that when I walked back to land there was a whole resort and like a community and like things to do. I wouldn't just want to
Mhm,
sit in an overwater bungalow and swim all day. Like
mhm.
the one thing for me is that I don't relax well. So I like a few
Same.
hours of like pool ocean time, but I'm looking for activities as well. I need to.
I know,
It's why
and
I
like
don't do great at an all inclusive.
Well, and like people, I mean, to each their own, but I'm not this person that's like, I'm happy to get like room service brought to me and just to hang out in the room and to like, eat strawberries and
Ugh,
champagne in the room. I'm like, God, the
no,
room feels like a prison to me. Like I
totally.
can't think of anything worse. I want to like see the world. I don't want to sit in a
Me
hotel
too.
room.
And I want to get dressed up to go out for dinner and I want to try a new
Yeah.
experience. And no, I want adventure. And like, obviously my adventures are limited, but like, I max out my ability to take in any kind of an adventure. And
Mhm.
like,
I know
it's,
in the I know we go here all the time, but like one of my favorite places on planet Earth to go, just me and you, is to
mhm,
Scottsdale.
me
Like
too.
to just
Honestly,
go, warm weather, pool it, go
shopping,
shopping, dinner's out.
great
That's
food.
what I like.
Mhm.
That's what I like to do.
Same. I also love like in New York. The only thing for me with New York is there's no warm weather, there's no pool. Like the
Yeah.
downtime element isn't there, but I still absolutely love a really busy city, you know, without
I
the warm weather
you,
element.
you kind of you did me dirty on the last one. We went to way too many art galleries and you know.
Yeah, but I
The last
needed to see
New
that.
York trip,
I
I was like, okay, we get it. You're a designer. Okay.
Yeah, well, you can do things I like too, okay? The next trip you can plan, okay? That's what
Okay, great. Great.
That's what we'll do. Okay, what's another question? Who would play you if you got to pick in a movie about your life?
Oh my God, I have to think on that. You got to go first.
I don't have one person. Like don't I don't know.
I thought for
I
sure you were going to be like, duh, Meghan Markle. Is there anybody else?
Well, I don't think so. But I don't think she's in the acting world anymore, so I don't even consider her. She's a princess now, so she's
Right.
kind of above
But
that.
if she was going to like take on a gig, this might be the one.
Yeah, okay, I'll say her. What about you?
Huh, I don't know. I don't know.
Don't say Megan Fox. Do not tell everyone you look exactly like Megan Fox. It's dangerous territory.
I was thinking Megan Fox.
You're like
MGK,
my doppelganger, Megan Fox.
MK, MKG. I
Yeah.
don't listen
I
to
don't
him.
know what his real name or like what he goes by.
His fiance, I don't know if you're
Mm,
familiar. That girl.
exactly.
I don't know. I often get told I look like the Olsen twins, which
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I
I
think
often get told I look like everybody. Like someone's
I think
always
you
coming up to me being like, "You look exactly like my granddaughter." Oh my God! I saw a girl that was in an ad, and she looks exactly like you. You look
right.
exactly like my best friend's sister. Like I get
I
it
think
all.
you look if the comparison to the Olsen twins is like valid, I think you look like the Olsen twins when they were young, like when they were 20 years old, not how they look now.
I mean, has anyone seen them in the last 20 years?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
they
I mean,
alive
keep
still?
grabbing Us magazine and you'll know.
Oh, well, it's all
They're still
online. They don't make it on their Instagram anymore. So,
yeah, so all right. So if you had nothing but time and someone said you have to pick a language to learn, what one would you want to learn?
mm.
This is easy
I,
for me.
I would probably just say Spanish because it's pretty universal.
Totally. Same with me. Like I feel like more often than not when I like travel, um Spanish would come in handy. You
Hmm.
know, spending time in the States, there's a lot of Spanish speaking Americans. And I just think that like what's close to us is Mexico. You already listed like Spain as one of, or no, you didn't. You said Greece. But like if I went to Italy, I'd want to go to Spain too. So I would want to speak Spanish there, even though I know it's like slightly different Spanish
Hmm.
and no different
I
than like
also feel
English.
like Spanish and French. I mean, I don't speak either of them, so don't
No.
take my advice here. But I think they're like close enough related that if you speak one, you can like somewhat understand the other.
Yeah. Totally. My
So,
clients right now, some of my clients right now are from Montreal and they speak French, obviously, but they also speak English. So I got in on a Zoom call with them like a little bit early yesterday and they were just chattering away in French because that's more comfortable for them, I think. And they're like, "How long have you been there?" And I'm like, "Guys, it wouldn't matter because I can't understand a word you're saying. So
Yeah,
I
totally.
don't know what you're talking about, and you could have been saying absolutely anything." And so the one guy, he's like, "You need to learn French. You're Canadian." I'm like, "I know, but I just didn't. So maybe that's one day."
It's so interesting because Mila is learning French at school and she like loves it. I'm like, well, bless
Well,
your
that's
soul.
good.
I
That's a
hated
great thing.
I hated learning another language.
Me
Like
too. I just found it so challenging. And I took Spanish. I grasped Spanish better than I grasped French, but I still
I
did
didn't
not find
grasp
it easy.
either. I took Spanish in university and I lasted like 2 weeks and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. How do I drop out?
What are some other things? What is something that this can be our last one? What is something that people don't know about you? Like it could
Mm,
be quirky and small and weird, or it could be like a huge thing.
huh.
It's hard
Yeah,
to know what people don't know because you know everything about yourself. So you think that
totally. You go first again? I don't
I
know.
have weird things that are like quirky. Like I like things like I'm obsessed with school supplies. Like, and I don't know if I've mentioned that on here
Yeah,
before,
you
but like
are.
it's
You
weird. It's a
are.
lifelong, I'll buy a package of pencils and get more joy out of that than I should. It is super duper weird. And
That
I
is,
get that. So,
yeah.
there's things like that. I'm also such a creature of habit that I buy the same stuff. Like if I like a candle, I will buy that same candle and I will buy one of it because I don't need five candles. I just want to burn one candle until it's gone. Like so I'm such a creature of habit that even if I'm given something, I'll like appreciate it and enjoy it. But once I find the thing I like, I just go looking for that again. I'm never like once I'm settled in something, I'm really happy to just keep it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like a bit of an old soul in like I'm pretty much our grandma Betty like
You
reincarnated. I
are.
like cooking and painting and like all the
Yes.
things that she liked to do. And if my life wasn't like going at warp speed all the time, if I had just like way more spare time, I think
Mhm.
I would spend way more time doing old timer type things like that, like baking bread and you know
Oh, totally.
things like that. Whereas like you've never that has never been your personality.
No.
Yours is more like Grandma Rita, where you're like we wear fancy earrings and we go to fancy places and we do fancy things, and that's we're
Yeah.
fancy
Yes.
ladies.
Oh, and
Um,
like if I got told I never had to make a meal again and I could eat all my meals in restaurants, I would like modify restaurant meals to make sure they were healthy and like in line with how I like to eat. But I would be happy to never even have a stove or a fridge. Like I don't want to make a meal. I hate it. It's a torture chamber activity every day.
well, yeah, and our mom feels that way too.
Yeah, she does. And I
That's
just
just
can't,
that.
I can't get into it. It's not my thing.
Yeah, I mean it's not for everybody. Other weird things is that like I cannot eat like I cannot even entertain the idea of like low fat dairy products.
Totally. I
Like
agree.
if someone's like, "Would you like skim milk in your coffee?" It's basically the equivalent of like slapping me across the face and being like,
Well, you
"You're
might as well just throw the coffee in the garbage.
absolutely,
I don't even like
absolutely
milk. Like, I don't even like regular milk in my coffee. I want like cream. Like,
same,
I want, or I want like cheese that's like the full fat, sour
same."
cream, the full fat. Like,
Oh,
I'm not,
you
I
had
only,
sour cream that's not full fat.
it's
It's like
so bad.
runny,
It's snot.
so bad. It's so
Hmm.
gross.
Yeah, it's so
So
gross.
gross.
So gross.
And like,
And
here's another fun fact about me. I don't have a single song downloaded on my iPhone.
yeah, that's weird. Like, are you a serial killer? Because that's just off. I'm sorry, but so you not like music, or how is this possible?
I
How do you
do.
get to
I
your
listen to
age?
music all the time, but I like listen to the iPhone or like iTunes radio, or like they'll put together a
Mhm.
playlist of based on songs that I've looked up or songs that
Right.
I've liked. But I just never download them to my phone. And I've never really
Mm.
learned how. And when Mila was like, "Can you teach me how to do a playlist?" I was like, "Ooh, actually, no. Can you? I don't know how. So you're
Yeah,
going to have to call your auntie on that one." Just weird.
totally.
It's just one of those things where I'm like, when I first got an iPhone, I'm like, I'll eventually learn this skill. I'll learn how to do all this stuff and I'll get there. But like,
Here
we're
you
20,
are.
we're 20 years deep
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
iPhone
Like you're
world.
still not, you still can't do it. Wow.
No,
Yeah, no, you aren't like a technology person at all. Like you know the basic technology to do your jobs, and then
Mhm.
you've never dug even around deeper whatsoever.
No, there's actually been no desire to dig deeper.
Mm.
So
Anywho, all right. Well, that was fun. We would love to know if you guys have any more questions for us, or would like to
yeah,
know specific things about us. But we thought it was time to do another little sharing, get to know us kind of thing. And as always, thank you, and we appreciate you listening. You're the best. Have the greatest week.
bye
See you next week.
guys.
We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks and chat next time.